car crashes, defective products, dangerous drugs, injuries, and abuse. Across the state of Alabama, the attorneys, proudly sponsored by the law firm of Hollis, Wright, are here to serve you. Your tough legal questions answered by our experts with the attorneys of Hollis, Wright.
Welcome. You are watching The Attorneys. I'm Art Franklin. And on this show, what to do when arrested for DUI for the first time and charged for the first time. We're going to deal with that and a lot more. But as we start the show, we'd like to remind you that attorneys are standing by at Hollis Wright right now to take your call. All you have to do is call 1-844-LAW-TALK. It is a free and a confidential call. Make that call right now. They'll be standing by throughout the show. And I know we've talked about things like this before, but I think this is a little bit different. We're going to deal with it differently.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking today about first-time DUI, first-time arrest, what to do. You're going to need someone to lead, guide, and direct you through that process. And Zander Carrie is on the show, first time on the show. We're super fired up to have you on the show. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
First, before we even get started in the topic, because I know this is a kind of a unique area of the law that I want you to explain ultimately kind of how you got into this area. Tell us a little bit about your firm and kind of what you guys do.
Yeah, so at Paulson & Paulson, I mean, we're the DUI guys. Me and Whitney, Whitney's father, Mark, we practice statewide. So we handle DUIs literally in every county in the state. Whitney actually wrote one of the DUI law manuals for the state. And so in terms of expertise, we have the knowledge and experience to handle any kind of DUI, because there's actually 5 different kinds that you could be charged with.
How'd you get into this, like this area? This is a real specialty area.
So I actually was a district attorney in Jefferson County, so had a ton of criminal experience, tried everything from homicides to serious sex cases and DUIs. And DUIs can often involve homicides as well. And so having that experience and background, transitioning into private practice, kind of helps me understand too what's coming and what is the state going to present against my clients.
I've always thought it was helpful when I started as a defense lawyer before I became a lawyer on the plaintiff side, having a DA that is coming on the criminal defense side, that's helpful. It expands their knowledge base to be able to understand how to prepare a case. I've always thought that was important.
Yeah, and Zander said something as he was introducing himself and talking about his background and talking about what he does now. You said 5 different types of DUI. I never knew that there were 5 different types.
There are, and so a lot of folks typically think .08, .08 or above, and yes, that's one type of DUI, but there are various other ways that the state or the city can charge you. So narcotics, any kind of Schedule 1 narcotic, even prescription medications can come into play. So there are different ways that the state can come at a case and say, hey, this is what we've got, and charge you with DUI.
It's driving under the influence and not just alcohol is what.
Correct.
So we have done shows. We actually recently just did a show related to new regulations related to the ABC taking over hemp and kind of that marketplace. That has to be something that is just squarely hitting people that are getting DUIs right now, because you've got not just alcohol, but you've got all sorts of marijuana products and hemp products out there in the market right now that people use that can create an impairment circumstance that walk into your office, I'm assuming.
Oh, absolutely. Every day what scares them is they typically think, oh, I'm going to take a breath test, I've been stopped. Well, now they're getting a blood draw and thinking, whoa, what is this about? And we're seeing that more and more every day, which is why it's very important to have an expert in the field that understands DUIs, that understands the science behind blood draws, to help defend people that are in that situation.
Let's talk generally, and we didn't even really jump off here, but let's go back to just kind of the basics of DUI. The law has changed over time. We had some substantial changes, 7, 8, 9 years ago, but DUIs for first-time offenders are still a very serious issue.
They are, and they can really impact your future. If you're planning to go into a professional field and you've got a DUI on your record, well, you've got to disclose that. And for a lot of people that come into my office to talk to me, they've never encountered the criminal justice system. They've only watched Law and Order and seen murders and robberies and think, oh, I'll never touch the system, but they're driving, get pulled over, and then all of a sudden they're in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very, very important to immediately tackle it so it doesn't impact their life later on down the line.
Ride sharing, I know Zander will tell us, but ride sharing has probably reduced the number of DUIs statewide, but it's still a very prevalent issue.
Yeah, as we go back to the original topic, first time DUI, first time arrested, what does that look like?
When someone encounters law enforcement for the first time, usually the first thing I always hear is fear. They're not used to it. It's something they've seen on television, and now all of a sudden they've got a flashlight in their eyes, blue lights all around, and the next thing you know, they're cuffed. And they don't understand, what are my rights? Should I blow or not blow? Do I even need a lawyer? And that answer is a resounding yes, absolutely. You should call our office right away, and we'd be happy to help you.
Yeah.
It's something to take seriously in the first immediate 48 hours after the offense has occurred. That way you can jump on every aspect, including an administrative license suspension. A lot of folks don't realize, but sometimes, depending on the circumstance, 45 days after the arrest, boom, they're going to have a license suspension.
What does your cell phone look like on the weekends?
It's just blowing up.
I knew it. I knew it. Now I got another person to send when people text me, hey, I'm in trouble, what do I do? And I say, well, I don't do that. I now got another guy. Don't worry, I'm going to change it. Call Zander, my guy.
Well, absolutely. 4th of July is coming up. That's going to be a big weekend.
It's so good. All right, so someone comes to you after, they bond themselves out of jail. They come to you and they say, look, I need help. I didn't realize I was going to get myself in this spot. What's the process you use to get their case evaluated, get it worked up, and try and figure it out?
Well, having that kind of expert knowledge behind DUIs, I mean, it's similar. If I was injured, I would call the lawyers at Hollis, Wright, and Clay, because I need an expert in the field to advise me. So we look at all the facts of the case and say, okay, what kind of DUI is this? Does it involve alcohol? Does it involve a controlled substance? Is it something else? Are they alleging intoxication from something other? Because they can, other than alcohol or a controlled substance. What time of day was it? Where were they going to and from? Was there a breath test? And we take all those facts and put it together to give them a picture of what's to come. Is this possibly a situation that's going to impact a professional license? Are they a professional? Do they have a CDL? That's a whole nother ballgame.
Right.
So we just take all those facts, build it, put it together, and get to work.
So I know we're getting ready to go to break, but when we come back, I want to ask a couple rapid fire questions with him, one of which is, he mentioned blood tests. I didn't even realize you could do a blood test when you're at the police station now, but it sounds like that may be new. Let's unwrap that when we get back.
All right, the guest is attorney Zander Carrie, and you are watching The Attorneys, and the topic we're talking about, what to do, first time DUI, first time arrest. Still a lot to unpack. I want to remind you that Hollis Wright is on all the social media platforms. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can also find us on YouTube. We're everywhere. So go ahead and follow us. So stick around. We'll take a break. We'll be back just after this.
Here's some good information from our firm to you. Hollis Wright recently launched the Law Talk podcast. With podcasts becoming so popular, this will be a simple way to provide our loyal viewers with more opportunities to access information about important legal topics and to learn more about our firm and how we can help you if the need ever arises. There are many ways to access the Law Talk podcast. You can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Also, episodes are always available on the Hollis Wright YouTube channel, as well as on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you consume your podcasts. Just search up Hollis Wright in the Law Talk podcast. Don't wait, take advantage and listen today. Thanks for watching The Attorneys, and we know you'll enjoy the Law Talk podcast.
The attorneys, proudly sponsored by the law firm of Hollis, Wright, are here to serve you.
When we started the show in 2011, my goal was to do what our firm does best. Help people answer questions related to real-world legal issues they have in their lives in a way that's not intimidating to talk with a lawyer. If the issue is important to you, it's equally important to us, and we're ready to talk with you at no cost.
Yeah, oftentimes people are confronting various legal issues in their lives that really run the gamut of a lot of different legal practice areas such as bankruptcy, criminal law, civil law such as personal injury, divorces, domestic relations. And to be able to have a show once a week that covers those practice areas and answers people's questions in those areas, that's really the main objective of the show.
We use the resources of the many lawyers at our law firm to create a plan that has a lasting impact for each person that calls or texts. And we also give back to the community at the same time. We are here to serve you, the viewer, each week on The Attorneys.
Addiction kills hope.
But at Bradford, it all changes here.
Experience the difference
that proven treatment can make.
Find recovery. Find community.
at Bradford.
And welcome back. You're watching The Attorneys. If you're just joining us, I want to remind you once again that you can reach an attorney at Hollis, Wright. All you have to do is call 1-844-LAW-TALK for that free and confidential call. Someone is standing by waiting to talk to you right now. And we're talking about first-time DUI, first-time arrest. Important topic that you need to know information about.
Yeah, so, when we went out to break, one of the things I wanted to talk about on this side was how do you, when you get down to the police station and you're being asked to participate in blowing into the intoxilizer machine, potentially give a blood test, how do you manage all that? Because that's probably before they even get to you.
Correct. So the short answer is I can't manage it. They're going to have to make decisions in the moment, and then we're going to have to deal with whatever those decisions were. Right. And those decisions can be impactful. So if a client refuses the breathalyzer, that can have a serious impact on their license down the line. And there may be an administrative suspension that can be put on hold, but eventually something that has to be negotiated, have to face that. As opposed to if they blow, well, what's the number look like? Anything over 0.15 can actually double penalties. Mm-hmm. And so that's a big consequence to manage if that's what we see coming in.
What about blood tests? Can they administer a blood test at the facility? Do they take you, how does that work? Do you have to consent to it?
So there has to be a warrant, and a lot of folks get surprised when all of a sudden, boom, there's a warrant. It can be done in a hospital. That can complicate things, obviously, because you've got different witnesses that may be involved that work for the hospital that eventually have to be called. But when we see a blood test, that immediately complicates everything for the state and for us, or the city. We're looking at exact numbers and trying to take exact chemical readings of different substances and figure out, well, what was here, and was it combined with another substance, and how would that impact somebody mentally? So once again, just very important to have experts that do this day in and day out.
If a warrant has been issued for a blood test, is it generally in the context that someone blows below the legal limit, but they still appear impaired, and they're trying to determine what caused that?
Good question. I think what we're seeing more and more is just the blood test gets triggered immediately when law enforcement pulls up, smell weed, and they say, oh, we've smelled marijuana. Okay, well that's putting them on a different path. Pull somebody out, they get indications of marijuana use. Maybe they find packaging, because a lot of this stuff you can buy it at the Piggly Wiggly now.
That's right.
And so they see it in the car.
We've done that show, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, and immediately that they're triggering blood tests on that.
The interplay between what Zander's talking about and the DUI work that I do, the dram shop work that I do, where we're getting experts involved in determining whether or not marijuana in someone's system was at an impairing level, whether a blood alcohol concentration was of a sufficient level. The crossover is actually really consistent. They're just trying to prove a different thing when they're trying to defend someone, and generally we're the ones prosecuting those claims against them to try and prove that their blood had impairing substances in it, as well as the blood alcohol concentration itself. So, at the end of the day, the interplay between these two is really, really close.
Something Zander said earlier, first time DUI, and all of a sudden you're just like in a nightmare. Yep. Can't believe that this probably happened to you. But when it does, the case is it will change your life and can really destroy so many things that you've worked to build up. The question I have is, how can you get that case dismissed so that you can get your life back?
Well, that's a very good question, Art. And yes, these cases can be dismissed, and there's multiple ways. I'm sure everybody is familiar from just watching TV. You can have a trial, and if you're found not guilty at trial, your case is dismissed. But there's also a way to guarantee a dismissal on your case, and that's a deferral agreement or a pretrial diversion agreement between the city prosecutor, state prosecutor, and your defense attorney. And those can look 10 different ways, 20 different ways. I mean, they can really be different depending on, is it a city, what county are you in? So it's very important to have a lawyer that understands pretrial diversion agreements so they don't trap people into this endless loop. Is it something you're actually going to be able to complete in order to get your case dismissed?
Yeah. So if someone has a first-time DUI, are deferment agreements in many cities and counties a viable option?
They are, but like I was saying, it just depends on the client's circumstance. So immigration law, really big right now. If you have any immigration issues, if you're on a visa, a pretrial diversion agreement can be a huge problem. And it needs to be structured in a very specific way to preserve everything going on in your immigration case. Same thing with professionals. Yeah. Some professionals come to us and say, I cannot have this agreement because it's going to impact me professionally. Well, they can be altered, they can be changed, but you just have to understand how it's done in order to make it work.
Yeah, this type of stuff is why we bring experts like Zander on and his firm, and I've known Whitney for years, and they do such a good job, and you've got to be with an expert. You can't try and do this alone, and you can't try and, some people, when stressful moments come, they bury their head in the sand and think it's going to go away. It's not going to go away. You need someone to be able to help you.
Absolutely, and every time you face a situation like this, someone finds themselves in a case where they're dealing with law enforcement because of a potential DUI, they're not always in a vehicle. What if you're outside your vehicle?
Good question. Being outside of your vehicle on its face doesn't presumptively make you innocent. However, it's a factor. And there's this test to see how much control did you actually have of the vehicle. And the state is going to have to take the totality of the circumstances, figure out what are the facts here. And do you have your keys in your hand? Is it a push to start and the vehicle is still running? How far away are you from the vehicle? I mean, there's all of these factors that play in a trial posture to show the judge or the jury this person, in our opinion, did not have control of the vehicle. So that's a huge factor that we always analyze on its face.
All right, I know we're going to our final break, but when we come back, I want to talk with Zander a little bit about the administrative side of getting your license suspended. If you refuse to blow, for example, what that can entail. Also, how the administrative process can be used to your advantage to have it move for a period of time to allow you still to be able to drive to work. All things that really matter, that are practical circumstances that you face even though you've been arrested for DUI. Let's talk about that.
So it sounds like there are consequences, but advantages too.
Yes.
And so we're going to get into all of that and more as we begin to wrap up this edition of The Attorneys. And so glad that you joined us, but give you one last chance while we're still on to reach an attorney at Hollis, Wright. All you have to do is call 1-844-LAW-TALK. Again, 1-844-LAW-TALK. It's a free call. It's a confidential call, and you can do it right now. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Thank you for watching The Attorneys each Sunday night, where we come to your living room to provide free legal advice in a confidential, off-air setting. Unfortunately, with the number of calls, texts, and emails that come in during the show, we can't always get to everything. But know this, Hollis Wright is open all week long. You call us at 844-LAW-TALK and we're going to answer your question for free. Thank you for watching The Attorneys, and we look forward to seeing you and talking to you soon.
If this place could talk, it wouldn't. It would sing and celebrate all of our stories of addiction recovery, victory, and community. This is Bradford Health Services. It all changes here.
Welcome back to The Attorneys. We're wrapping up our discussion on first-time DUI, first-time arrest, and getting some real great information. Also want to remind you, follow Hollis Wright on all social media platforms, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, also on YouTube. You'll find some really good information, some great resources there. Back with Zander Carrie now as we begin to wrap up. Can I start on expungement?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's an area
Let's do
that,
it.
you know, you get it at DUI, you want it to go away, you want it off your record because you don't want anyone to find that you had that type of problem in the past. Can it happen?
Yes, absolutely. So let's just say we've gone into court, we've gotten a pretrial diversion agreement structured perfectly for the client, they finish it, case dismissed. 90 days after that, fantastic, we can actually file a civil suit to have your case expunged because it's been dismissed with prejudice, not coming back. That is a separate civil suit, but we handle them once again all over the state. And the other possibility is if you faced a conviction in the past and you're worried about it because of a background check coming up, you can actually still file for an expungement on a misdemeanor conviction 3 years after the date of conviction on your first conviction. So,
and is that, what if it's a violent versus a non-violent? Does that play into expungement? I've heard that those issues sometimes will play in.
It does. So for DUIs, you know, first offense, first conviction should not be an issue. But yes, if we're talking about a violent offense or if your DUI also involves some other type of crime, we need to look at it and figure out, is this eligible to file?
Talk just for a minute about the cost of a DUI if someone is convicted, because these charges, like the cost for a first time, second time, third time is pretty incredible. And by the way, we're not just talking about driving a vehicle, we're talking about driving a boat too. That has very similar evaluations.
Absolutely, and it would be the same range of punishment, boat or car. I mean, you're looking at anywhere from a day in jail to a year in jail, and anywhere from $1 in fines to $6,000 in fines. And on top of your fine, you're paying court costs, and on top of that, you're going to have all of these mandatory drug testings and classes as part of a conviction, and possibly even interlock, which can get really expensive over time. So yes, I mean, there's very serious cost to having a DUI conviction.
And so having someone help lead you through the process is really the key here, to try and limit that. I mean, because it gets worse. If you have a child in the car and you get a DUI, if you are above 0.15, like those penalties are even more stern, are they not?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there can be very serious enhancements that do, I mean, the main one is if this is not your first time DUI, there's going to be serious consequences, including mandatory jail time as part of a conviction. So I'm sure just like y'all walk hand in hand with your clients through these difficult times in their life, we're doing the same thing and walking them through this moment that could impact them going forward.
All right, so talk to us just for a minute about the administrative side of getting your license suspended and how that works and how you guys can help navigate people through that process.
Absolutely. And at the beginning of the case, there is this immediate, usually license suspension that's imposed 45 days after you're arrested. However, we can actually stay that. We can file civil suit and take care of that while we're also taking care of your criminal case. Ideally, you never serve a single day on a suspension, but we just see where that goes and we monitor that at the same time. Once we've got a disposition on the criminal case, we go back, attack that, and see if we can get that resolved with ALEA. So.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at the practical side of, hey, I still have to go to work after I get out of jail. Hey, you know, I still have to be able to operate a vehicle during certain times, or you're taking a loved one to, you know, medical proceedings, whatever. You have children that have to go to school. Like, making sure that that's handled is also really important.
But it's so life-changing.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you stay out of that situation, or if you do end up with an attorney like Zander. Are there some common myths that people have about DUIs?
So a lot of people think, oh, it's a DUI, it's a misdemeanor, or hey, I'm down in the Vestavia Municipal Court, I live close there, it's no big deal, I walk in, pay a fine. That is not true at all. I mean, just the administrative suspension, actually, if we don't jump on it within the first 10 days, it can be a problem.
Yeah.
And so taking DUIs are serious, municipal courts are serious courts. No matter where it's at in the state, it is a serious crime that needs expertise to handle. You think being a former, being in the, you know, on the DA side, has it helped you? Do you think it's expanded your ability to help folks that have these issues? Absolutely. I think that it 100% has, and you know, being able to see all walks of life. Yeah. I mean, anybody that walks into the office, they are in a desperate situation, and having been on the other side, you know, handling cases for victims of crimes, to be able to walk them through this process and say, hey, you know what, we're going to take care of things. We're going to handle it from here. Relax, we've got you covered. What do you see moving forward? Do you see any trends in the DUI world? Do you think the penalties will be enhanced? Is our legislature evaluating bills? Like, is there anything you see kind of moving forward? I think that the landscape with the use of industrial hemp and these products that now it looks like you'll be able to buy at the ABC store. Yeah. And so it is, you know, boom, fully legal, no question about it. If more and more use is going to occur, well, I think we're going to see more and more cases that involve blood testing. That's probably where things are headed. You think Uber and ride sharing has been good, though, and has limited the number of DUIs out there, probably? I think it has, but at the same time, you know, Ubers aren't available everywhere. Yeah. You know, we go into some of the most rural parts of our state, yeah. You're not catching an Uber. That's right. You know, people still make bad decisions. Down in Henry County, it's not happening. You got a DUI, you need Zander, you need Whitney, his partner, and they're great in this area, wherever you are in the state.
That's right.
Great job. Thanks for being on. Josh, did a fabulous job. Absolutely. Yep. Thank you.
And if you need any information about legal, you need Hollis Wright. Join us again next week, same place, same time.
Thanks for watching The Attorneys, sponsored by Hollis Wright.